Hi everyone, welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. It's great to be with you all again. This is podcast number 1000, and I'm recording this on video and audio because I received some feedback that some of you would prefer to see my face while I'm making these. So you can easily see my face on social media, particularly on YouTube, if you're using that. Well, it's podcast number 1000, so it's time to celebrate. And I'm so glad to have you following me through these podcasts. I have to let you know that we now have 1,000 in the archive, and these podcasts have been designed to entertain you, to make you happy, and also to teach you some new words as we move forward. Now, let me just explain a little bit more about where the podcasts are going. It's great to think about where they've been. 1,000 in the archive, you really need to go back and check some of those out. There's a good few years there for you to look at, and it's not ending. They'll be continuing. So let me just explain a little bit more. Right, so at the moment, you're getting a weekly lesson, and then every day we have a little video clip on YouTube to discuss it. And you're also getting a daily podcast with a bit of humor about some English custom or English news story. Let me tell you what will be happening from the 5th or 6th of January. Okay. First of all, the date of posting the weekly lesson is going to be on Monday, not Sunday. Okay. So the weekly lesson will appear on Monday mornings. The daily video clip that you get alongside the weekly lesson discussing it, I'm going to do YouTube shorts for that. Okay, so they'll still be there, but it won't be me looking at the screen, talking through the lesson. I'm going to make it a bit more creative to do some YouTube shorts. Okay, they will appear at some point. I'm not sure if I'll be able to post those so early in the morning, but I'll definitely try. Okay, so they'll be coming. So you have the weekly lesson and you have YouTube shorts. There'll be at least one a day, maybe more, depending on the lesson and what's in it. Okay, so that's the biggest change that's coming. The next thing I want to tell you about is the daily podcast. Now, right now, there's a daily podcast which lasts around 15 to 18 minutes with the news story, etc., etc. Okay, so these YouTube shorts that I'm referring to that I'll be making, they'll be going on the podcast feed as well, so you'll be able to hear those. The weekly lesson will be recorded as normal, but the actual 18-minute podcast isn't going to be daily anymore. It's probably going to be around twice a week, maybe more, but it's not going to be specifically at 7 a.m. Okay, so it's changing a little bit. And in that podcast, there will be featuring some special guests. Okay, so the correct way to say that in English is there will be special guests featured. So these podcasts, they will be featuring special guests. In the passive voice, there will be some guests featured, not every week, okay, but that's coming. And when I'm making them, I've had feedback that you want to see me as well. So you see me on video as well as audio. I'll let the audio still come through Spotify to YouTube, so you can choose if you want to listen on audio or if you want to see me. Okay, so that's a little bit of a change. Let's just summarize. Okay, weekly lessons. Okay, still going to be there, but it's going to be supported by YouTube shorts, not me going through the text as I've been doing. All right. Secondly, the weekly lesson is going to be posted on a Monday morning instead of a Sunday. Thirdly, the timing for everything being posted, okay, is going to be changing a little bit. The weekly lesson will probably still come out really early in the morning. The YouTube clips, the other things, podcasts, etc., the timing could vary. All right. So if you're looking for a hard, fast 7 a.m. podcast every day, go into my archive. There's thousands of them there, and they'll keep you going. But I think you'll find that the new podcasts are going to be much more interesting because we're going to have some guests and we're going to choose some very specific topics which I think you're going to like. Now, I'm not a big fan of bringing guests in, but I can think of at least two people, maybe three, who've offered to come on. I tell you, it's not easy to get anyone to come onto my podcasts. But yeah, we'll be doing those. Okay, so you'll see my podcast feed filling up because you're going to have a YouTube clip, then you'll have a YouTube clip with separate audio also on YouTube coming through Spotify. Then you'll also get my podcast, which will be a video and audio as well. So you can pick and choose if you want to hear me or see me. Many of you have spoken a lot about seeing my mouth movements. And of course, my first passion, as always, is helping you to speak better. So my podcasts are going to be focusing on that as well. Well, everything I do always focuses on helping you to speak better. So we'll be looking at that as well. So some changes happening, just to keep you up to date. So I hope you found this interesting, and I'm looking forward to coming back from next week with our weekly lesson, YouTube Shorts, and there'll be a podcast for that week as well. So the podcasts are going to take place between Monday and Friday. You'll see me popping up at the weekend when I'm out and about as well, doing my shopping and everything else. I'll still be making podcasts. You can't shut me up. So there might be weeks where you get a podcast every day. There might be weeks it's once a week only. Don't wait for me though. Okay. Don't be expecting a podcast first thing in the morning that you can tune into because I'll be busy preparing the weekly lesson and the weekly podcast and the special guests. So I think it's all going to work out really well. Um, so I hope you find this helpful. And that's it from me. So that's my update for today. And of course, New Year is coming. That's another great thing. I'm not sure if you celebrate New Year where you are. I know across Asia, it's not New Year. Also in Israel, I think some people don't celebrate the Western New Year. So if you are celebrating New Year, I wish you all the best. Some of you have been asking me whether we celebrate New Year here in a big way. We do. Pubs will be full, people will be gathering in the town square of cities, but in the villages, people usually go to the pub or they stay at home. I'll be asleep. I don't like New Year. Many people don't. It's not part of my, how can I say this? It's not part of my journey. It's not part of who I am. Counting doesn't really feature well for me. Let me explain. If I say, oh, I'm not going to eat chocolate anymore, it sounds like a nice plan, but after 1 year, I begin to say, oh, I haven't eaten chocolate for 365 days. And I get kind of proud, you know? And then on the other hand, if I eat chocolates on day number 400, then I'm devastated. I'm saying, what? I've eaten chocolate on day 400 after 400 days? So to avoid that whole scenario, I don't count. I don't count days. So New Year for me is another day. it kind of reinforces this idea that life is only 0 to 70 and then you're dead. And now that I'm over 50, of course, I don't particularly like that scenario. So I don't count anymore. If I want to choose to do something, I can start it afresh every day. If I want to give up chocolate or alcohol or whatever daily, I can make that choice and bring it alive in a new way every day without the burden of counting it. So that's my philosophy. So because I'm quite principled, I tend to bring everything together. If I really believe that, then I won't be counting New Year as a new year. I'll be counting it the next day as a new day. And that also helps me to live in the moment. And I recommend you really take that approach with your English as well, because this idea of I've been studying English for 2 years and I'm still not getting anywhere, well, give up counting then. Don't count it, it's not going to hurt you. You can just say, I've been studying English for I don't know how long and I'm not getting anywhere. I need to change. But that 2 years, oh my God, it's been 2 years of my life. Yeah, I mean, get over it, as we say in English, build the bridge. Another nice thing you can say in English is get off the cross. We need the wood. Thank you very much. There we are. So that's just about it from me right now. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll be back uh, starting with our new weekly lessons on the 6th of January. It would have been the 5th if they were staying on Sundays, but they're moving to Mondays. Then we'll have our 4 days of YouTube shortened clips, and then there'll be some podcasts around as well, but not so regularly. And certainly they'll be posted at different days and times. Just to say something, this isn't what I wanted exactly, okay, but I do understand. I'm looking through statistics, my recordings on Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere else, that most of you just click through them. Okay, I know there's a handful of you listen religiously to my podcast. Thank you for that. But yeah, most of you are looking for something a little bit shorter. So I'm trying to accommodate for all of you, those who want something shorter, those who want something a bit longer. All right, and that's it. So I'll be catching up with you all again soon, and I wish you all a really, really happy new year if you're counting. See ya. Bye bye.